sure you already know one or two new languages, maybe more, but what do they have in common? They're verbal languages. But what if you wanted to learn more? A language where you could actually control a computer. Well, this is your one-way stop to my exciting course on Python, where I upload videos every Sunday, each with a new concept full of different content, where you can also learn at your own pace. So what are we waiting for? Let's get right into it. So what is Python? Python is a text-based programming language. In Python, programmers write code using symbols, words, numbers to instruct the computer to perform various tasks. It can be as simple as adding two numbers or can be used to code interesting games. Anyone can start coding. It is a great language to start your coding career. If you decide to stick with me, I can ensure you will have a great time and learn a lot. To do so, I suggest downloading on your device a software called Python Idle. This is your learning platform where you can experiment with different codes. It is called a shell. To save your work, you would create a new file where you will be writing your very own lines of code in no time. The way this course will work is by me teaching a concept thoroughly, and at the end we will be taking upon a challenge. Are you ready? Once you have installed your idle, we will create a new file and save it as firstfile.py or .py. If you're wondering how to get this text and how to make it appear bigger, because it's not the same on your screen, go on Options, Configure Idle, and you can set your size and the font you want. Once you're done, press Apply and OK. So let's get started. We will create a new file. Simply go on File, New File, and you will see a pop-up window. You can also press Ctrl N. After that, you will press Ctrl Shift S, or you can go on File, and you can go and press Save As. Once you have done that, go in your specific folder that you have created. In this case, mine is Logic Capture, and inside Logic Capture, Python. As you can see, there are no current files. And over here, this is already set to Python. If not, just go ahead, type your file name. Let's make it firstfile.py. And we can save it. And as you can see, it has saved it. Now let's start with the very first line of code you will write. It is called a print statement. This will enable us to print a sentence on our shell. It can be any sentence. The way this command works is we type in print. Note that we cannot type print, priv, or pris. It will only take the command print. Once we have done so, we will take two curly brackets and write it right after print. After that, we will put two quotation marks inside these brackets. These quotation marks are essential because it is telling the computer whatever is inside these quotation marks printed out on the screen. Once we have done this, you can print anything you want. In this case, let's print Hello World. Once we have done so, let's go ahead and save this. Wow, it says Hello World. Now we will be doing a challenge. I'd like you to note that this challenge is going to be fairly simple. As we go on in the course, it will get harder and harder. Let's make a new file and save it as challenge 1. In our first challenge, we are going to print Welcome to Coding. And on a second line, print your name. Once you are done, we will compare our codes to see what we can do to make it better. Remember, do not skip in the video. Try the challenge first on your own. Great! Have you done your challenge? Let's compare. Let's go into File, New File, and we're going to take our pop-up window, save it in our folder, and we're going to save it as Challenge 1. After that, the challenge was to print welcome to programming, and on a second line, print your name. So we would go ahead, print, put our quotation marks, and we would put welcome to programming. And on a new line, we're going to print our name. Whatever your name is, it doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and put a name Sam. After this, we will save our program and run it. Welcome to programming, Sam. There. If your code was not the same, let's go ahead and check what we can do to make it better. Okay, if you didn't understand, print is a command that we will run to print our sentence on the browser. So we have our print function, and then our opening bracket, our opening quotation mark, and our sentence, welcome to programming. After this, we will have our closing quotation mark and our closing bracket. Then on a new line, which is the second line, we will use the same exact function, print, opening bracket, opening quotation mark, and our name. In this case, we use the name Sam. After that, we're going to use a closing quotation mark and a closing bracket. The very next thing you want to learn are variables. You've probably heard of them many times throughout your life in different contexts such as math, science, or language. Although this would be a little different in coding, it has the same meaning. A variable is used to store a value, which will later on then be called at some point throughout our code. A variable can store a number, a word, or even an input from the user. Let's use an example to show what I mean. Let's create a new file and save it as variables. I'm going to take our pop-up window and there. And we're going to save it as variables in your specific folder. So Logic Capture, Python, and variables. Once you have done so, let's type in our variable name, which in this case is going to be age. Age will be equal to a specific value, which we will type in. So age is equal to 13. I am 13 years old. However old you are, type it in. This is telling the user age is equal to that number which you put in. Now you are probably wondering, how can we possibly use this? A print statement. Remember, a print statement allows the coder to print a sentence. So we are going to type in print followed by 2 brackets and quotation marks. Then we are going to type I am. And after that, we are going to press the addition symbol. I am plus age. This plus is important because we are telling the computer we want to add a variable. Then we are going to put another plus followed by 2 quotation marks. In these quotation marks, we are going to put years old. Let's save this and run it. Oh no, an error. This error says cannot concatenate string, not integer to string. Let's go into our program and check what's wrong. Oh, I know. Since we are calling age to be an integer and not a number, it will probably add age into our print statement, which means we have to convert age into a string. So let's go ahead before age in the print statement and type in str in 2 brackets. So we're going to put str in 2 brackets. Inside these 2 brackets, we're going to cut, copy, paste age and paste it in these brackets. Let's save this and run it. Oh no, we by accidentally put V. Let's make that age. There, perfect. I am 13 years old. But I think we have to put spaces. So let's go ahead and right before I am, let's put right after I am, let's put a space, and right before years old, let's put a space. Perfect. I am 13 years old. If you do not understand, let's break it down. First, we are defining a variable, which is age and is equal to 13. Then we are printing I am plus the variable name, which is age, plus years old. If you think you properly understood this, then let's get ready for our second challenge. Let's make a new file and call it challenge 2. In our second challenge, we are going to make a variable name. And in this variable, you will store one of your family members' names. After you are done, create a second variable to store however old they are, and then print hello, your variable name, then is, followed by your second variable name, then years old, and it should look something similar to this. Wow, you finished! Over here is a code that I have written to complete the challenge. Hopefully yours will look the same too, if not the same. Over here, I've made a variable and I put the value Bob. Notice how it is in quotation marks. It is in quotation marks because it is a string, as opposed to this, which is an integer. Name is equal to Bob. And over here, I've made my second variable, which is the age of Bob, which is 18. Not in quotation marks because it's an integer. Then I've made a print statement followed by an opening bracket, an opening quotation mark, and hello, plus a space, ending quotation mark, plus the addition symbol, and calling out my variable name. I do not have to put string because it's already a string. Then hello plus name plus quotation mark space is space quotation mark plus string opening bracket age closing bracket. I put string around age and not name because age is an integer, not a string. Remember. Then I put an addition symbol, quotation marks, space, years old, quotation mark, and in closing bracket. Let's see if this runs properly. Correct. If you didn't understand, you can look back at the previous examples. Otherwise, that's all for variables. Wow! You successfully finished today's first class. Be proud of yourself. In this class, we learned about print statements and variables. In the next class, we're going to learn about how to get input from the user and how you can actually interact with the computer or whoever is sitting and coding. If you enjoyed today's class, I will be posting the next class either Saturday or Sunday. So stay tuned and have a safe and happy summer.